In this spiritual war, there are only two energies, life and death. Life, alkalinity, death, acidity. When you know what those energies are, you will recognize the forms they take. If you don't recognize the forms they take, then you must know that alkalinity touches, when it touches something, it makes it want to become more alkaline. When acidity touches something, it makes it want to become more acidic. Alkalinity produces its own life and expands and creates an abundance and shares with itself. Acidity creates no life and lives in scarcity and takes in order to have. All that alkalinity has, it created itself, and its creations create themselves within that same rhythm of creation and order and harmony. So alkalinity creates creations that create. Life creates life that creates life. Acidity must wait still because it has no life to move it. Acidity can only take life in order to live. Otherwise, it is static and dead for eternity. So when acidity touches alkalinity, alkalinity corrects or harmonizes acidity in order to protect the order that alkalinity creates. So what acidity does is attempt to touch the creations of creation in order to turn creation into a shield to stop creation from destroying destruction. These are the only two energies in the universe, and they can never be friends. Because when they meet, just as when you have baking soda and vinegar meet, you have a period of confusion, and then you have the permanence of stagnation, the mulatto class of alkalinity and acidity. Once you know these two energies as they are in their natural, in that understanding, and once you know which side you are on, not on a belief way, but on a biological, spiritual, energetic way, then you can orient yourself to truth. Acidity takes, destroys, hates itself. Alkalinity creates abundance. Its creations create, love themselves. Or are you the mulatto, the mixture of the two, that sludge that's in that bowl after you've poured baking soda and vinegar together? Confusion is, it may be you. The order of the universe is alkalinity. The hate is acidity. What are you? I had a conversation with a couple of people from different countries today. One of them grew up inside of the United States and the other didn't. But both parents were from other countries. The one who grew up outside of the United States, he could speak this kind of conversation with me without getting afraid. But the other one, who I had this conversation with, he got more fearful with every word that came out of my mouth. You see, he was the tragic mulatto, the mixture of alkalinity and acidity, the stagnation, the inability to move to one direction or the other. Alkalinity creates, shares, and gives. Alkalinity takes and takes. And so acidity takes and takes. Acidity can't move on alkalinity. And alkalinity, since it's able to produce and create so much, it can overwhelm acidity very easily. So rather than have the structured organization of alkalinity overwhelm it, acidity forms itself into something to make itself attractive to alkalinity. And as alkalinity touches acidity, it becomes confused with itself. And over time, this sludge builds up, stops the flow of alkalinity. And that backup slows down the overall flow of alkalinity. And this decay sets in. And this decay protects acidity from alkalinity's corrective force. This is the same war that goes on our planet, in our bodies, and in every area of life. Alkalinity, which is me, my consciousness is aligned with alkalinity. Our bodies are always aligned with alkalinity because our bodies are of alkalinity. But my consciousness is now aligned with alkalinity, though at one time it was aligned with sludge, the mulatto. But your consciousness is the only thing you have the ability to correct yourself to. And when you correct yourself to truth, truth pulls you and shows you more of itself, and it becomes you. You are already it, but you become more of yourself. I realize that I do a lot of listening. I don't talk very much. And when I do talk, it's a direct reflection of what I say. I can just fully express, and the magnetism corrects whatever comes out of my mouth before it does. I don't ever have to worry about being imprecise because I can just want to say it and it comes out exactly as it needs to. I've corrected my consciousness to what I am, which is alkalinity, which is the African mind. Now they're confused. They get tripped up on the forms. But I, being fully understanding and energetically connected to my own essence, I don't care what you call me. I just am. I am known by many names. I can take many forms. And generally, when I'm speaking to a person, I assume a form that harmonizes with them. It doesn't matter what language they speak or anything. I'm just liquid like that. But we live in the land of sludge, controlled by acidity. The zombie class, that's the sludge. But it's all based on consciousness because the whole thing is alkalinity, which is nature, and concrete, which is acidic. Nature wants to draw you back to yourself. And acidity, concrete, wants to draw you to it. Hollywood, all of that is controlled by the acid people. Creation creates too abundantly, and whenever the creativity of creation is threatened, it starts to speed up its creation. And since it's already precise, it's going to overwhelm acidity. So acidity has to do whatever it can to get the alkaline to throw themselves in the acid, to create that zombie wall, to avoid that which would destroy destruction. You're not going to read about this in a book, but you need to open your eyes and you will see it for yourself, and you will return to alkalinity. Or you will close your eyes and close your ears and stay in confusion. When the spirit of alkalinity shows up, you have the choice of loving yourself. Alkalinity will complete you, and you will get the powers of creation. And the joy of creation feels so good, your creations create. And they share the joy of creation with the creations of the creations, and the creations of the creations of creations create. With that same joy, pushing them into abundance. When acidity shows up, the choice is kill yourself or kill acidity. And if you don't want to do either, then acidity's nature will make alkalinity start to destroy itself. Self-destruction. On the planet, you had the African race. When the African race ruled the world, we helped the world complete itself and love itself and create itself and be in harmony with itself and nature through love. But then the spirit of acidity has taken the control of the planet. And in every nation it went to, it was told to kill yourself or to kill me. And if you didn't kill acidity on sight, then slowly you started to kill yourself. And through killing yourself, acidity has created his global economy. You're looking at it right the fuck now. The more dead bodies in a way, the safer acidity is. So his lies injure the confused with every step they take, trusting in acidity. Every step they take, trusting alkalinity, which is always connected to them magnetically, is always correct. But acidity says that step you took, it's all luck. You gotta believe it's all luck. And they believe. And in their belief, they keep stepping towards acidity, injuring themselves with every step. But they can't stop stepping towards acidity because they are addicted to acidity's sweetness. Alkalinity would make them march through correction, and they won't do it. You see, with my awareness, my consciousness connected to alkalinity, every step I take deepens my understanding, which is a giant pool of water, we'll say, which makes my next step more sure than the last. But for the confused, every step they take towards acidity, they wind up with more confusion. And they get doubt with every step they take. Their minds grow quieter and quieter. Their pains grow louder and louder. And they just won't work up enough nerve to turn around. The last 2 days I've been walking in groups, and I've been flowing in 4 languages, switching back and forth like it's water, because it is to me. It's all me. I'm just throwing my understanding. My understanding is correct in everything that I say. The form that it takes is the language of who I'm speaking to. But as I have an expression that I want to just let go, magnetism corrects that expression before it ever leaves my mouth. I have no worries of ever saying anything that's imprecise. Everything I say is liquid precise because my understanding is that magnetically dense and deep and righteous. I have zero confusion, which is such a contrast of what I was experiencing years ago. But even that contributes to my current understanding. Now I have to share. Alkalinity can always share the fruits of alkalinity, but alkalinity could never share alkalinity itself. I could always share the fruit of my understanding, but my understanding itself is mine alone. It can't be stolen, and it can't be given away. That's the security of alkalinity. Anyone that aggresses against it gets corrected. Anyone who will share with it, their own is nourished because of it. That's what it is. That's what this is all about. I see it. I can express it. But the blindness of others, well, they must correct that within themselves. If not, okay. Everything that this universe creates is in motion. So in order to grow in understanding, you must step. That step could either destroy you or it could deepen your understanding. You must become mindful of the energy your step brings. What if you say, okay, I won't step, but I'll just listen to the ones I know have understanding? Well, how do you know the one with understanding isn't intentionally taking a false step in order to understand the destruction? And you follow that. You're following your way into destruction. You must cultivate your own understanding and move, because standing still is not allowed. That's just a slower version of self-destruction. When I speak to anyone, I'm mindful of which of the three I'm speaking to at any moment, because the magnetism of the one who has developed their own understanding, you can feel it on them before they even say a word. The ones who are stagnant, they look to throw up blocks and counters to stop the energy of whatever you say, because the truth as you show it to them destroys the falsehood that they've cultivated their whole lives on, and they just want to hold on to that for as long as they can, and every single word of truth from your mouth destroys that. And the acidic, they run at first taste of you. They can't have direct contact with you. They have to activate themselves through the confused. And now we understand why the revolution will not be televised. It can't be televised because the side of alkalinity is silent. Magnetism is very silent. You have to feel its power. That's what nature is. The sun, the moon, the cultures of the world, the humanity. That silent music. Music is sound passed through magnetism so that it doesn't destroy itself. When you remove magnetism, that sound clashes into each other with no harmony. That's noise. So, the reason it won't be televised is because each one of us are in this war. And we are one of those three. Our consciousness is in one of those three spaces at any time. So you have to fix this for yourself and share. I walk through this life flowing with sure steps. But one thing I don't do is reduce the amount of magnetism I cast off. Sometimes acidity presents itself as if it's my peer, and my magnetism has to intensify itself in order to draw the illusion master out of hiding. So I may increase in passion and energy and density. I'm unlimited, but the amount of force that I display is magnetically based upon the situation, and it's not even conscious, but I know it's righteous, so I don't ever slow it down, just as the sun never lowers how much light it casts off. In every interaction, I must be able to definitively identify for myself, am I dealing with acidity, lying, deceit, or am I dealing with confusion, or am I dealing with righteousness? Righteousness will share abundance that they are creating within themselves with me and increase my understanding as I increase theirs. We'll feed each other. Confusion, the confused, they don't know which one they are just yet. But my interaction with them pushes them into one way or another. They will either ask me to lower my intensity, which I will not do. They will join and increase their own magnetism, or they will flat out run. But either way, I walk away with a deeper understanding, one way or another. Confusion will not be in my presence and be comfortable. Falsehood will run, but the few that I can grow with are what this is all about. My understanding deepens with every step I take, every interaction I have, and that's just what's going to happen. That's why the revolution will not be televised. I'm just flowing. I don't have to write this down. I don't have to think about it. But I bet you my words are liquid precise, because alkalinity is water. Acidity is death. You see, as humans, we're all moving on ignorance. Ignorance isn't the problem. You see, those cultivating understanding get excited when confronted with ignorance, their own ignorance. It's an opportunity to make some moves and see and deepen our understanding. Because after a while, you start to understand so much that you arrive at a certain stagnation if you don't keep moving and keep being creative. But the confused, they are fearful of every step until they reach acidity and they become attracted to acidity's addictions, or they meet alkalinity and they become attracted to the creativity in themselves that they didn't want to see. You see, alkalinity touches you and makes you want to be more alkaline. Acidity touches you and makes you want to be more acidic. As human beings, our consciousness is somewhere in the middle until we make a conscious decision to move to join the free of alkalinity, free creation, or to join to serve acidity. We can make a conscious decision to be free, and we can make a conscious decision to be privileged slaves, ruling over the confused. This battle goes on with our own human bodies as well. Those things that are most alkaline, acidity has taught us to hate. And those things that are most acidic, acidity has taught us to be addicted to. And those of us attempting to pull ourselves out of acidity's grip, wallow in that confusion zone. And when introduced to deeper alkalinity, they realize they have to move to alkalinity to understand alkalinity. Because acidity's grip on their minds is so powerful that alkalinity's attraction cannot grab them. So if you, at the sound of my voice, are sludge, realize that you've just been listening to a bit of alkalinity. Make your move.